Hello, test takers. Let's look at this reading and writing test question, which looks to be pretty beefy. So let's get into it. I can already tell that since we've got two texts here, this is going to be a cross-texts connection question. So as I read this, I'm going to be thinking about how these two passages relate to one another. Text number 1. Researchers recently discovered a new species of bacteria isolated from a mangrove forest in Vietnam that produces a natural antibiotic compound. The antibiotic compound, which the researchers labeled Compound X, has shown activity against several pathogens, including the bacteria that cause tuberculosis and the fungus that causes candidiasis. The researchers have concluded that Compound X is a promising candidate for developing new drugs to treat these infections. Okay, text number 2. A group of biochemists tested the effects of Compound X on human cells and DNA. They found that the compound caused significant damage to the DNA of both normal and cancerous cells, leading to cell death and mutations. The researchers asserted that Compound X may be too toxic for therapeutic use, and that its mechanism of action may involve interfering with DNA repair enzymes. Based on the texts, how would the group of biochemists in text 2 most likely characterize the conclusion presented in text number 1? Yeah, okay, so what does text 2 think of text 1's conclusion? What's fun about this question and its use of Compound X is that it's modeling a great test-taking practice, what my colleague Jess calls the yada-yadaing of the passage. You see a piece of jargon, a scientific name, a long-chain fatty acid or chemical compound or whatnot, and you can just kind of go, yeah, yada-yada, we're calling that Compound X now. So what is text 1 saying about Compound X? What's their conclusion? Well, conveniently enough for us, we have the word concluded in here. So what did they say? The researchers have concluded that Compound X is a promising candidate for developing new drugs to treat these infections. Great, to treat tuberculosis and the Candida fungus. Again, you can kind of yada yada that stuff. It treats illness Y and fungus Z. That's our conclusion. It's got therapeutic value, according to text 1. So what does text 2 say about that conclusion? Well, they say it causes DNA damage in their testing, leads to cell death and mutations, and it may be too toxic for therapeutic use. There you go. Boom. Note that I haven't even looked at the answer choices yet. I wanted to develop my own prediction, my own understanding. Text 2 thinks that text 1 is wrong. Compound X might be too dangerous to use. So let's see which one of my choices matches that prediction. How do the biochemists in text 2 characterize the conclusion in text 1? They characterize it as practical because it addresses the potential toxicity of Compound X. It does not. There is no mention of the toxicity in text 1. This choice is not supported by the text. It is no good. We can knock it out. What about choice B? They think it's misguided, because evidence shows that Compound X may be harmful to human cells and DNA. This is correct. Text 2 is skeptical of text 1 because of the DNA damage Compound X does. That's our answer. Got it in 2. Let's keep going. Just for completion's sake, on test day you would want to circle this and move on, but I want to prove to you that I'm right. So, choice C, the biochemists in text 2 characterize the conclusion in text 1 as preliminary because it requires further testing and validation of Compound X's safety and efficacy. Nah, the biochemists in text 2 were doing the further testing, right? They concluded that it might be too toxic for therapeutic use. So this choice also isn't supported by the texts. Choice D, the biochemists in text 2 would most likely characterize the conclusion in text 1 as credible because it provides strong support for Compound X's potential as a new drug for tuberculosis and candidiasis. They don't think it's credible, they think it's toxic. The strong support for Compound X's potential comes from text 1, not text 2. So this is not supported by the text. It's not how the biochemists in text 2 feel about text 1. This is just what's in text 1. So we can cross this one off as well. And that means our answer is B. So let's review what I did here real quick. I summarized each passage and compared them to one another. I determined that text 2 thought text 1's conclusion was incorrect, and then I carried over that determination, that prediction, to the answer choices. This allowed me to knock out the incorrect choices and find the answer. Good luck out there, test takers. You've got this.